is that to the people of Wuhan, it is recognized the world's in your debt.
If I had COVID-19, I want to be treated in China. China was using fundamental control measures to control a respiratory-borne disease. And these kind of viruses, they move so fast that using case-finding contact tracing won't work. You need a vaccine or something else. And China proved through a disciplined, rigorous approach that you could actually turn it around with these measures. And we needed to study that and look at that and say, what's really going on? But the single biggest message I took away was speed. You have to find the cases quickly, and you have to get them isolated and their close contacts quarantined to be able to break this disease. So that was the first big message. Speed, speed, speed. And the second big message that I got was you can't get speed without your population. Your population has to understand the disease, understand how serious it is, and understand how to get tested or get family or loved ones or work colleagues tested if they think they have the disease. And China worked hard to remove the barriers. You know, outside China, everybody thinks, oh, insurance covers everybody, medical insurance, and they don't realize it's actually way more complicated than that. And but early in the outbreak, China's government said, look, when your insurance stops, the state steps in to cover the costs. And that's important to helping people know, if I get tested and I'm positive, I'm not going to go bankrupt or have a financial catastrophe. And that's another important message for the West. But what really impressed me were the people of China. There was a sense of societal responsibility and sense of duty to play your part. And it was a striking and very, very special thing about China and something that really touched me. I think there were two things working for China in this outbreak. One very recent and one very ancient. You have a culture which goes back through centuries and eons almost. And over time, there's a wonderful sense of the importance of society as evolved in Chinese society and in much of the East, of course. And it's quite different from the West, where individual rules and their society rules to a certain degree. But at the same time, since the time of SARS, you have really strengthened the public health capacities in the country. So that culture, combined with the public health capacities that you had that understood how to deal with dangerous diseases like SARS, could then be mobilized very, very rapidly. So when you brought that public health expertise together with the population and some pretty strong leadership and big decision making from the people at the top, you had the combination you need to beat a virus like and a disease like COVID-19. I think one of the great things of China was it was willing to share its experience, share what it learned with the rest of the world, very, very openly, very transparently in what we saw. Our mission was allowed to look at whatever we wanted. We saw enough to understand the fundamentals that we needed, and we saw it from many different angles, which helped us be sure of what we were looking at and what we were recommending. And one of the other points that we said in the report, and this was before Italy and Iran blew up in terms of cases. We were already seeing cases in Korea. But we expressed our concern that the world wasn't ready. It wasn't learning the lessons from China fast enough. And we were very frank about that and said, you have to have your population with you. They have to know the seriousness of this. They have to be able to rapidly report. You have to be able to test. And what we're seeing is some of the consequences when any part of that breaks down. But the other important thing we learned from China, and this is a message that I've been sharing with Iran and with Italy over the last few days, is that it's never too late to get this under control. You can slow down the virus, and every step you take to try and reduce the number of cases, the intensity of transmission, that's going to translate into less cases and people and lives saved. That was the big message I heard all the time in China. It's about saving lives, saving lives, saving lives. Everything they were doing was about saving lives. So I think we're still learning from China. When I first came back, there was a lot of interest in the report, and people were mainly saying, I don't think we can do what China did. And now that cases are picking up, my phone is ringing much more, and people are saying, how did China do what they did exactly? What can we do? And it's a very positive dialogue. I mean, there's still skeptics, but there always will be. The important thing is that we work together to try and find the solutions. And that Chinese commitment to international solidarity in the face of things like this is what's important.